Violins come in several different sizes. It's really important, just like if you were buying shoes, if you buy shoes that are the wrong size for you, they're either going to be very uncomfortable if they're too small, and if they're too big, it's going to be almost impossible to walk. Think about your violin in the same way. I'm going to show you how to check the sizing, but the best way to get your sizing just right is to go and be fitted in your local music store. If you're going to rent your violin, that's a great place and great time to get it done. Violins come in full and smaller fractional sizes. So the full size is what we call a 4/4 size. That's a full size. That's as big as a violin gets. If you get something bigger than a full size, you've gone into a viola. Make sure you don't use a viola for this course. If you want to learn to play the viola and you have a viola, you want to get into the viola course. Even though it looks like a violin, it's bigger and has different strings. Okay, so here's how you're going to tell if the violin is the correct size. We're going to put it up on our shoulder in playing position. What we're going to do is we're going to reach all the way down to the end of the violin. If you can reach all the way past and your hand reaches past the violin, that violin is a little small for you, with one exception, the full size. If your arm reaches way past the full size, that means that it's the correct size for you, because that's as big as a full size gets. If you have a long arm, yours will go past further than mine. If I put my hand around the twirly scroll, you're going to see that I have a small bend in my arm. That means that this violin is the proper size. If I have that small bend in my arm, this violin is the proper size. If I can't reach, and I'm straight, and I can't reach out to the end, and my arm is straight, the violin is too big for me. I need a smaller size. Let me show you what it looks like if the violin is too small for you. This violin is a half size, and it's too small for me. You see how far I can reach? I can reach very far, and when I hold it here, my arm is very bent. If your arm is bent at almost a 90-degree angle, then you're going to know that that violin is too small for you. You need the next size up. Violins are made in fractional increments, so the biggest size is a 4/4 or full size. The next size down is a 3/4 size. That's a good size for your average 8th and 7th grader, middle schooler, unless you're super tall or have long arms, in which case you might play a full size. Most adults will play a full size. If you're a very small adult, in some instances, especially if your arms and fingers are super short, they have a violin that's fractional between a 3/4 and a full called a 7/8. And I played one because I'm short for several years. But I realized that I could easily play a full-size violin. And the bigger the violin, the better it sounds. So we want to get in the biggest violin that we can without sizing too far past where we can reach comfortably. Here's what it looks like if the violin is way too small. This is an 1/8 size. Between the 1/8 and the half, there's also a 1/4. So we have a 32nd, which almost looks like a Christmas tree ornament, and then we have a 16th. The 1/8 is a little bit bigger. Those are going to be for your 4 and 5-year-olds. And then your 1/4 size, these are going to be for your younger elementary school students, and then you're going to head on up to that, well, half size for older elementary, 3/4 for middle schoolers. And so this violin is way too small for me. It's itty bitty, but if you had a little violinist who could keep their hand around this scroll with a very small bend, that's what you're going to look for. I'm going to go ahead and put some measurements down in the description so that you can see exactly what measurement, just in case you aren't near a music store.